This is fantastic.
Sorry.
Bleach.
I can't.
I find it really does the trick before the show. Yep.
Good evening, welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Stephen Mangan. In the news this week, in Wimbledon, Sadiq Khan insists the new COVID non-contact rules for tennis haven't ruined the sport. Newsnight's Emily Maitlis expects to make a fortune from her new invention, the hover dress.
So, Labour throws down the gauntlet now to government's move. We speak to both sides. Also tonight...
And in a Nottinghamshire care home, care workers and residents prepare for the visit of Matt Hancock. On Ian's team tonight is an author whose last appearance got this show in trouble when she brazenly plugged her latest book. We usually only allow Ian to mention Private Eye because when he does, it only seems to have a negative effect on sales. Please welcome Helen Lewis. And with Paul tonight is a Scottish comedian who recently called Boris Johnson a big, scaredy, shitey bag. Personally, I'd have just put get well soon. Please welcome Janie Godley. We begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Ian and Helen, have a look at this.
Oh, there's the Prime Minister with Boris.
I think that must be Rishi Sunak retraining to be either a Prime Minister or a primary school teacher. Stuck on the P's.
There's Matt Hancock trying to track and trace himself. That's the leader of the Labour Party talking to a packed house.
I think this must be COVID-19.
Yes. Correct. Well done.
I'm a rebel.
Well done.
I'll always go for the hard answer.
Yes, this is the news of Boris Johnson's latest great idea to restrict coronavirus by dividing up the UK into 3 tiers. I knew it'd end in tears. Yes, there's a lot of confusion over what the lockdown rules mean for each region, but luckily, the Sun has cleared it up for us. We're either stuffed, or nearly stuffed, or soon will be. We weren't going to talk about it, but now London's involved. It's a proper news story.
We're in Tier 2 now, aren't we?
As of midnight, yes.
Yes, it's like a cake.
Except every layer is made of shit. It's massively cheered up the north of England, who are happy that London are unhappy. I think that's the main feedback I've got from my friends in the north. And we're going to be put, if we're really, really unlucky, into Tier 3, where you can only go to school, to work, or to Barnard Castle. That's it. 3 places. That's where you go.
Yeah, everyone's staying in. This audience is here for, well, until Christmas now.
Yeah, in the Wirral, one landlord has renamed his pub as a protest against lockdown. Anyone know what he's called it?
He's changed its name to the 3 Bellends.
Yes, from the 3 bells to the 3 Bellends. Why were some Northern MPs frustrated by the announcement of the 3 tiers?
They got invited to a Zoom call with 3 minutes to spare.
Yes, some MPs learned of the restrictions in their local areas via Twitter or invited to meetings to discuss the new regulations with only 3 minutes to spare. MP for Warrington, Charlotte Nichols, was invited to a briefing for Merseyside, but then it was withdrawn after they realised Warrington isn't in Merseyside. Lisa Nandy tweeted, "Just learnt Greater Manchester will be placed into Tier 2 restrictions via Twitter. Apparently there was government briefing for Greater Manchester's MPs, but I can't provide details because I wasn't invited. I suspect this is because they don't know where Wigan is." What an absolute shambles.
Wow.
Can you tell Wigan and Warrington apart?
Yeah, one's a longer word and one's a shorter word.
You know, Wigan, Ian, obviously, is the home of Northern Soul, whereas Warrington is the home of the UK's first IKEA.
Oh.
But people haven't quite decided what they wanted to happen. There were some people who said, we don't want this lockdown to occur at all. And then now Labour Party policy is, we want a very strict lockdown for at least 2 weeks. So it is quite confusing. I mean, the government's quite confused, and I think the opposition thinks, well, if we're a proper opposition, we should be pretty confused.
Boris has decided to ignore the advice of Sage, who also had advised a mini lockdown. Why has Boris done this?
So there's a full-scale debate going on. The Cabinet aren't agreed.
And what we've cunningly done is gone, economic damage is bad, people dying is bad, why don't we have both?
Yes, one member of Boris's cabinet told The Sun that Boris was concerned about the British public's morale and was looking to call lockdown by another name instead. Any ideas?
Lovely, snuggly home time.
Who's getting overly frustrated with Boris this week?
That's a long list.
I imagine this must be Keir Starmer, because every time we have a PMQs, for some reason Boris Johnson seems to get personally offended that Keir Starmer is opposing.
Here's Keir in the Parliament this week, clearly getting frustrated with Boris.
There's a further cause of anger. Prime Minister, if you actually listen to the question, we might get on better.
Dad's getting angry. They wouldn't stand for that sort of behaviour in the Italian Parliament. How did they recently deal with one MP who was talking too much and making too much noise?
They stuck his head in a bucket.
Well, they may well have done, actually.
Yeah, they did.
They were, well...
You may not have the footage, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Well, I think this is maybe where they were taking him. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
He's definitely heading to a bucket.
Their Parliament looks a lot more fun than our Parliament.
Yeah.
Who else has been accused of having a pop at Boris this week?
I hope it's not us.
This sign language interpreter from the BBC. Let's have a look.
Those in any business that is required to close.
That, apparently, is sign language for wages.
I didn't know you could get paid for doing that. Cash in hand.
Talking of which, what's a wet pub?
Is it a pub that doesn't serve food but pretends crisps are food, but if there's not crisps, they'll pretend a gammon sandwich is food?
Yeah, that's sort of pretty much it. A wet pub is a pub that only serves alcohol. So in order to stay open in Tier 3 areas, you have to serve booze with a substantial meal. Community Secretary Robert Jenrick was mocked for saying that a Cornish pasty now has to be served with a salad. If you would expect to go into that pub normally and order a Cornish pasty with chips or side salad, then that's a normal meal. How else has Robert Jenrick embarrassed himself this week?
It seems to be a new way of working amongst Tory MPs, is that you approve a development in your mate's constituency and he approves one in yours. And they both are totally unsupervised and they cost millions of quid. But apparently that's fine.
It's perfect.
As long as you have a salad... with Richard Desmond.
Yeah, at lunchtime.
At lunchtime.
Yeah.
Let's see him being asked about it on Andrew Marr.
In yesterday's Times, your constituency of Newark, it was reported, was awarded £25 million in funding from your own department in an initiative called the New Towns Fund. Is that right?
That's correct. Ministers don't get involved in their own constituencies. That decision was made by another minister in my department.
Which minister, by the way?
It was made by Jake Berry, who then was...
Right, who also got money for his constituency.
I think... well, that was the decision made by another minister.
You?
Well, it was made by myself, but I think, to be honest...
So you decided that Jake Berry's constituency got money,
perfect.
and Jake Berry decided that your
Andrew, with
constituency got
respect,
money.
this is perfectly normal.
Who else saved themselves some money this week?
Oh, I hope this isn't the Dominic Cummings story.
Yes, unfortunately it
Can't
is.
you just leave it alone and move on? We've all had enough of hearing about Dominic Cummings behaving badly. We don't need any more of this, Stephen.
I could take a little bit more.
OK.
He's not going to have to pay back 30 grand in backdated council tax for his second home, which was built illegally.
I think he looked at his own house and he couldn't see it. I mean, he just didn't realise he'd built a house. If only he'd had some glasses. So he's been let off. It's another rule that he doesn't seem to have to obey.
There's a bin near where I go for a walk that's sort of for dog waste, and somebody stuck a photograph of Dominic Cummings under the front of it. No caption or anything, it's just it's been up there for weeks.
When did you do that?
Oh, about 3 days.
Margaret Ferrier. She still hasn't resigned, has she?
Margaret Ferrier hasn't resigned. She's still hanging on for dear life there.
Nicola Sturgeon's not happy with her, is she?
Well, I don't know, because I don't live inside her head.
Right. Could you sort that out for the next time you come
I will
back, please?
do.
Thank
I
you.
will. Apparently, there's some legal parameter where the MP has to resign. You can't actually sack them.
Oh.
I think her constituents can recall her
Yes.
and say...
Like a defective Volvo.
Yeah.
They can recall her and then boot her out, can they?
Yeah, yeah.
They have recalled her, but the names they called her we couldn't print.
What's been this week's track and trace app news? Because there's always some.
That it's 2 cans with a big bit of string. And the string has now got longer. And they're going to replace the string with longer string.
According to The Times, as of Sunday, although 16 million people have downloaded the app, only 1 alert has been sent out about a coronavirus outbreak in a venue. In further bad news for the NHS test and trace system, 2,000 contact tracers have been told they're being laid off this week. They would have laid off more, but they couldn't get hold of them. How did a ballerina get the government into trouble this week?
It's a government advert, and it was a ballerina called Fatima, and it was a picture of a ballerina, and it said, Fatima's next job might be in cyber.
Yeah, sending the message that if you're in the arts, get out. We don't want you in the arts.
Yes, it was really badly timed, because I think this ad was made years ago, but they thought, oh, let's put it out this week, because everyone in the arts is feeling very up.
Rishi Sunak also launched a website to help people retrain. You answer 40 questions.
I did this.
You did it, and what did it come up with? What should you be?
I answered it honestly. All that stuff about, you know, do you like people disagreeing with you? Oh, yes, I'm very good at that. Anyway, it gave me 3 job options. It said I should be a fairground assistant.
Yes.
Scream if you want to go faster.
Cloth cap fag in your mouth.
Yeah. Second was Ofsted inspector. I'm genuinely not making this up. And the third one was grave digger.
Wow.
The government has decided that people in useless, non-viable jobs need to be retrained. So I decided to take it as Boris Johnson. Thought it'd be a useful thing to find out. It said, do you have attention to detail? I said, strongly disagree. Do you like working with facts? Again, strongly disagree. Do you like to finish what you've started? Strongly disagree. Can you guess what it said that Boris Johnson should retrain as? Estate agent.
I filled out this form, but I didn't find out what it was.
These are your suggestions, Paul.
Yep.
Leisure centre assistant.
Yes.
Sign language teacher.
Yes.
Apparently they are very good.
Yeah.
Bailiff.
Bailiff, yeah.
Cake decorator.
No.
Checkout operator.
How many jobs have I got here?
Well, last 2 really, I think, sum up how brilliantly this system works.
Yeah.
They're asking you could say you can either be a checkout operator or a judge.
That's good.
Take your pick.
I wouldn't like to be a bailiff because I think that you'd be sort of like seeing people at, you know, difficult times in their lives. But I do love that show, Call the Bailiffs, because of the voiceover in it. You know, do you ever see that?
No.
Oh, it's on about 11:30 in the morning. You must have seen it, surely. He claims it's his flamingo, but he hasn't got the receipt.
I'm just terrified at the thought of Paul as a judge.
Yeah.
It's one profession that I might have to encounter him in.
Exactly. Well, I'm not so pleased about you being a gravedigger, but believe it or not.
Before I pass sentence.
Yes, exactly.
Who wants A cheery, quick-fire COVID quiz.
Yeah, go on then.
There have been lots of protests, but what have the older generation in Berlin been doing to show their displeasure at anti-maskers?
Wearing masks and doing sweary things.
They've been posing in adverts like this.
See?
There you go. Does anyone speak German?
That says, get it right up, ye. I can't wait to do that. Just walk about doing that and have a big trolley full of cats and just shout at people.
Did that come up as one of the jobs on the form that you
Yeah.
In other news, what was Captain Tom Moore the first person to receive this week?
Special designed mask, is that what it is?
No, he was the first person to be handed a military veteran's rail card. Let's have a look at him receiving that card.
The card's got its own Zimmer frame.
You're not taking many chances. It runs out next November. That's nice, isn't it? Somebody hands you that. We were going to put it at the end of the week, but we thought give you a chance. Dear, oh dear.
They haven't even extended it to Remembrance Day.
Oh, yeah.
Out on the 4th, mate.
It's this week's attempt to hold back the second wave, also known as Operation Canute. People in many parts of the north are bracing themselves for a second lockdown. Everyone except the SNP's Margaret Ferrier, who's organising a conga pub crawl round Falkirk. Keir Starmer said a new lockdown could also be used to upgrade the test and trace system, presumably from broken to not working. Also, this week it was revealed that Dominic Cummings wouldn't have to pay back £30,000 of council tax for a property that was illegally built in Durham. Reacting to the news, one neighbour said, "It's one rule for us and one rule for them." God, I miss the days when we only had one rule. Paul and Janie, take a look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, she's shoplifting.
Yeah. All chicken nuggets or something similar.
Oh, there's a big rocket for the chicken nougat.
Yeah, they're sending one of these chicken nuggets up into space to celebrate 50 years of this supermarket.
Yeah, this is the news that a chicken nugget has been sent into space.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at it. Here it is.
Right, that looks authentic.
Yeah.
Seems to be transported by the rocket ship Adobe Photoshop.
So why are they sending a chicken nougat and a rocket up into the atmosphere?
It does appear to have been, imagine it, a PR stunt. We don't want to give them any free publicity, so let's call them B-Jam.
B-Jam?
Yeah.
Right, OK.
How did B-Jam announce the event?
On the Iceland website.
Yeah, pretty much, actually. They sent a tweet. We don't know who needs to hear this, but we sent the first ever chicken nugget into space. Yeah, I don't think anyone needs to hear it. We just put it on the show because the rest of the news is so depressing. How high did this nugget get?
80,000 feet.
Higher?
80,000 feet!
Yeah, it reached a maximum altitude of 110,000 feet.
Blimey.
Using a custom-designed launch system which included primary avionics and an integrated camera support system to capture video footage.
Yes.
Do you think they could maybe organise the track and trace? They seem quite good at doing stuff.
Do you want to see it again? Let's have a look at the nugget again. There it is.
Wow.
That is real footage.
Let's make it clear that the Earth isn't the property of Iceland Foods, it's just a nugget. They're not claiming world domination,
They're
are
doing
they?
quite well now, so maybe.
Yeah.
What sort of obstacles did the nugget overcome?
Ridicule, meteorites.
According to Iceland's press release, it battled temperatures of minus 60 degrees.
Didn't battle anything, it's a fucking nugget.
Here it is after it's re-entered the Earth's atmosphere.
Here you go then.
And here it is just before it comes into land over Iceland's chicken slaughterhouse. Right, now this question can go one of two ways.
Yeah.
Paul.
Right, OK.
Do you want to stay with food or do you want to go with space?
I'll go for space, please, Norman.
Space it is.
Yeah.
What have the UK and NASA signed up to do?
I'll go for food. UK and NASA have signed up to do, I don't know, they're going to put a chip on Mars.
No, well, they've committed to putting a woman on the moon.
Is it against her will? Any particular woman or just one that they're walking past the shop at a time? Just one person to the moon. It's going to be a bit
Just
lonely,
one
isn't it?
woman on the moon.
Just one
yeah.
woman, just
Yeah.
a woman called Margaret. They pick it random and just send her up there and
Yeah.
go.
You get a phone call one day, it's like, it's
Yeah.
you.
I just feel like every mother I know of a small child would volunteer for
Yeah.
after 6 months of lockdown with no childcare.
What does every woman in space need that she
Pair of
has?
high heels. She'll need to date in high heels or everybody will be incredibly disappointed. And she better be slim and look good from every angle or she'll get trolled on Twitter for being quite chunky of thigh.
Is it a specially adapted toilet?
It is a specially adapted toilet. According to the BBC News website, the space station will get a new $23 million toilet with a vacuum system specially designed for female astronauts that sucks waste from the body. Oh, is that the sexiest statement I've ever heard? Would you like to see this toilet?
Why not?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've come all this way.
Yeah, go on in. Oh, blimey.
Yeah.
It's like a pressure cooker.
You can do a cappuccino at the same time.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Right, so they're the space questions.
Yeah.
But we've written some food questions, so we're going to ask you those as well.
Yeah, OK.
What has new research suggested we should be doing with cows to get better burgers?
Knitting a jumper for them, preferably in the traditional Fair Isle style, and then making them wear it and then singing to them for maybe like a week or two.
It's pretty much the right answer, actually.
Jersey cows.
Yeah, there you go.
A new research from Austria
Yes.
this week has suggested farmers should help their cows unwind by talking with them face to face before slaughtering them. Which is what Keir Starmer does with Boris every week. But I think the idea is that when cows have adrenaline, it shoots through
That's
their
right.
muscles and makes the meat taste not as good. So you go up to it, grab its chin, talk sweet love to it, and your
Yeah.
mate's behind with a massive shovel. And then...
Yeah, but then the cow behind's thinking, I'm not talking to that bloke over there.
This is the news that Iceland has celebrated its 50th birthday by launching a chicken nugget into space. That's outer space, lonely, cold, desolate, or as it'll soon be known, Tier 4. The good news is that the chicken nugget landed in a Liverpool beer garden next to some salad, enabling the pub to stay open during lockdown. Also this week, John Lewis confirmed it's ditching glitter with immediate effect. Bosses admitted it was a mistake to cast him in their Christmas advert in the first place. And so to round two, the picture spin quiz. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Ian.
Well, he's well, would you believe?
Although he's been dyeing his hand white.
He's back and he's better. And he says that it was a message from God and that it's over and you've got to vote for him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even, I'm not very good with makeup, but even I know how to do a wee bit of blending. It's like he's just opened the makeup bag and did like that. Chicken nuggets are stuck to him.
Yeah, that actually does look like a chicken nugget. This is the news that Donald Trump has confounded his critics and is now immune from COVID, which, given the polls, will probably last a lot longer than his immunity from prosecution. What did he say he wanted to do to a crowd in Florida this week?
Kiss them.
But it shows how much he's learnt about the disease, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That really what you want to do with a recovering COVID sufferer is kiss them.
Here he is.
One thing with me, the nice part, I went through it. Now they say I'm immune. I feel so powerful. I'll walk into that audience. I'll walk in there. I'll kiss everyone in that audience. I'll kiss the guys and the beautiful women and everybody. I'll just give you a big fat kiss.
Well, it is a swing state, isn't it? What did he do at the end of the rally to pump up the crowd?
He danced, didn't he?
Yeah, he danced.
He's entered a kind of disco phase. So he came on at the rally well, he had the warm-up music was Macho Man. Interesting choice.
Yes.
He danced at the end to YMCA
Yes.
by the Village People. And then in the middle of it, he said, I'm going to kiss all the guys. And you think, I'm not sure what this illness has done to you, but I think there's probably a Vegas residency with your name on it after November.
Let's have this mesmerising bit of footage.
Do you you know what? I haven't been able to unsee. Someone said he stands like he's the front half of a centaur.
What was Trump thinking about doing last week when he came out of hospital?
Oh, he had a great plan, which was that he wanted to go out on the balcony. Instead of ripping his mask off, he thought he'd put a Superman T-shirt on and rip it open like that. And it's one of those news stories where you read it and you go, that can't be true. And then you think, oh, yeah, no, that can be true. Yeah.
It's Trump, yeah. Yes, according to the Washington Post, Trump had planned to get off the helicopter looking frail before ripping open his shirt to reveal the Superman logo.
But
he only didn't do it when they couldn't find a phone box big enough for him to change in.
they say that he's behaving like that because he took all these steroids when he was in hospital. They say one of the side effects is sort of overconfidence and manic behaviour, but then, I mean, how do you know?
In a sign of how much trouble Trump's campaign is in, which group sought to distance themselves from him this week?
His family.
They're always at that, aren't they? The Taliban. The Taliban sought to distance themselves from Donald Trump. This is what they said. Taliban denies endorsing Donald Trump for US president.
They're very discerning.
I mean, even they can see he's unstable. Voters are unimpressed with Trump's inaction on coronavirus, so how did he seek to steer the conversation away from it this week?
By, as we've alluded here, holding big open-air meetings with packed with supporters, not wearing masks. It's a cult. There was a guy from The Late Show, I saw a bit of this the other day, who was going around talking to Trump supporters and saying, you know, what do you think about wearing a mask? And they said, well, you know, if he said wear a mask, I'd wear one, but he's not wearing a mask, so I'm not wearing one. And one guy said, this country, he said, is better off than it was 4 years ago. I'm better off than I was 4 years ago. And the guy said, you're better off than you were 4 years ago. I said, yeah. He said, what do you do? He says, I'm a debt collector. So it's a cult.
A terrible misprint.
Yeah.
A slip of the Sharpie.
What he also did was, well, he phoned Fox News this week to make this very important political point. Let's have a listen to this extraordinary rant.
Look at where California is going to have to ration water. You know why? Because they send millions of gallons of water out to sea, out to the Pacific, because they want to take care of certain little tiny fish that aren't doing very well without water, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was at the height of the steroids, I think. The people of California are sending water out into the ocean to save tiny little fish.
I think the problem is trying to re-educate all the people who consistently voted for him. People have invested so much in supporting him, they can't publicly back out and go, no, I was wrong. It's like that cult thing. They're like, no, I made a mistake. They can't. They've invested their lives, their jobs, their families, their opinions, their workplace. They've invested all their morals, everything. So they can't just go, I've made a big mistake. They just can't. And that's why I've been married for 40 years.
Which demographic did Joe Biden aim a campaign video at this week?
Oh, was this The Living Dead?
It's dog owners. This is the ad they put out.
How would I look walking a dog on the White House lawn? Would that be?
Why would you want somebody at work who's smarter than you are?
Meanwhile, in North Korea this week, what did Kim Jong-un do to surprise people?
Oh, he wept.
Did he?
Yeah, he wept and he said he was sorry that he hadn't defeated the virus. I mean, that's what a compassionate leader looks like.
Yeah, he cried during a speech. Let's have a look at him.
Yeah, go on then.
Bless him.
Why does he need 3 microphones?
Kim Jong-un.
Oh, yeah.
This is Donald Trump, whose doctor has given him a clean bill of health, and in return, Trump has given the doctor his family back. Time now for the odd one out round. Just one between you this week. Your four are Igor Zrausis, Lawrence Fox, Dean Wilson and Elon Musk. Ian.
Is this about calling people pedos late at night on Twitter?
Go on.
I don't know a lot about Twitter, but when I read about it, it's always very late at night and people are calling each other pedos.
These are swimming trunks, are they?
Yeah.
The chess guy had previously been banned for looking up chess moves on his mobile phone in a toilet and then snuck into a unrated chess championship under a false name.
So is it people cheating on a phone? Getting into trouble on a phone?
Or fake names? Because Elon Musk's child is notoriously called XC12.
You're on the right track with the names thing.
I do feel like the guy who's holding up paper might be holding up deed polls, and the picture makes me think, has he changed his name to Fire Exit?
Yes.
Wow!
There was a comedian in the 1950s called Nosmo King, it was no smoking. That was,
Lawrence Fox is the only one who hasn't changed their name.
Is the correct answer. They've all changed names except for Lawrence Fox, who isn't allowed to name his political party what he wants to name it. Why is he having issues with the name?
It's called Reclaim.
Reclaim.
He wants it to be the UKIP of culture.
Wow.
A Manchester-based charity of the same name have threatened legal action and don't want to be associated with Fox in any capacity.
who is he?
He's an actor.
Oh, yes.
He was in Lewis. He played the sidekick to the guy who used to be Morse's sidekick.
Ah. Is John Thor still doing Morse?
Less so since he died.
Oh, not so much.
Paul, what does Lawrence Fox definitely not want us to call him?
Well, I've got no idea. I didn't know who he was 2 minutes ago. And now I found out he's killed John Thor. What does he want us to do?
What does he not want us to call him?
The Mad Fox, the Desert Fox, Foxy Fuckwit.
On Question Time earlier this year, Fox said it was racist to describe him as white privileged male, says the Harrow-educated, privately financed millionaire Caucasian. Who has Lawrence Fox said he doesn't want to be associated with recently?
It's the Taliban, isn't it?
No, well, almost. Sainsbury's. This month, Fox accused the supermarket of promoting racial segregation and discrimination for supporting Black History Month. Oh, I've got cramp in my leg. Oh.
Do you want me to hit it for you?
Oh, Christ.
I mean, there's literally nothing any of us can do for you.
Don't come near me.
Do this with your foot.
all right.
Then go round.
I'm all right, everyone. Don't rush over. OK. Right.
Some water would help.
Is that what'll help?
Yes, because it's partly dehydration.
Crisps are good, providing we're not turning into a pub.
Lawrence Fox claims his new party has raised millions of pounds, although he's already spent most of that phoning Ofcom to complain about Britain's Got Talent. In other news, how did BT Sport's boxing coverage get itself tangled in a politically correct knot this week? You're watching BT's boxing coverage, Helen?
I do little else, and yet somehow have missed this.
Well, the show wanted to acknowledge Black History Month. Let's have a look at this surprising piece of television.
And before we get to talk about our main fight here, David, I think it is perhaps appropriate tonight that we just pause to mark Black History Month, most of all. And we discussed it today, and we thought it was actually right that we acknowledge that properly, and there's nobody better placed on our team to do that than Steve Bunt. So over to you for a moment, Steve.
Thanks so much indeed.
Wow. Why has Elon Musk changed the name of his baby?
Well, as Helen said, it sounds like he had a very embarrassing name.
Well, he did. This is what he announced he was calling the baby. Anyone want to have a stab at how to pronounce that?
Is it X-Ash A12?
Yeah, X-Ash, Archangel 12, Musk. This is what they've changed it to comply with Californian law.
He needs a kick in the balls.
What has Dino Wilson from Gosport decided to change his name to? Fire Exit. Why?
So he'll see his name in lights everywhere he goes.
I wanted to have my name up in lights.
He also needs a kick in the balls.
What's he hoping will happen now? He's changed his name.
He'll be inspected once a year by the fire brigade.
According to what he told The Sun, he's hoping it would kickstart a career in comedy. Any advice for him, Janie?
Kicking the balls.
Why did former chess grandmaster Igor Rausis change his name?
Well, because he was banned from playing chess, because mysteriously, after the age of, I think, 40, he got a lot better, which chess grandmasters don't seem to do, and it turned out he was looking up the answers on his phone.
Yeah, he was using his phone hidden in the toilet cubicle, and here's the evidence.
Wow.
Caught with his trousers on. The disgraced chess cheat was ordered to leave the tournament venue. Unfortunately, the floor was tiled, so it took him 23 moves. Why might Britain's first vegan football team, Forest Green Rovers, be about to give their stadium an unusual name?
Are they going to get sponsored by ham?
They've decided to hand the decision for naming the new stadium over to a fan vote.
Oh.
Yeah. Any idea what name they've come up with?
Footy McFootball.
That'd have been better than this. Kevin.
I like that.
Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication the Surrey Association of Woodturners newsletter. Most of the woodturners in Surrey congregate around Godalming, but there are some smaller splinter groups.
Stephen, can I just say?
Yeah, sorry.
I like a man that can whittle his wood.
Oh, yeah.
And not get cramped when he's doing it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we start with... A third of people think what should be acceptable office attire?
Wood.
Pyjamas.
Bondage gear.
A gold cape.
Hot pants?
Underpants.
Shoes. Soft shoes.
Yes, is the right answer. A third of people think slippers should be acceptable office attire. This is according to a new series of polls aimed at people working from home about their potential return to the office. In one survey, 39 out of a sample of 40 workers said they always wore slippers to work. Mind you, that was a poll of Ali Baba's thieves. Next, study claims there are too many grey what in Britain?
People with grey jumpers.
Horses. Not horses.
Shoes.
Horses is one letter out.
Houses.
Yes, is the right answer. Study claims there are too many grey houses in Britain. This week, a survey of homeowners revealed they think Yeah.
Go on, tell us. You're teasing
Take
us.
a run at it. This
Yeah,
one
don't
got
run at it. You'll
cramp
get cramp again.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of this show, you getting cramp. In 10 years' time, where were you when Steve Mangan got cramp? Is it coming back again?
No, I'm just stroking it.
Oh.
This week, a survey of homeowners revealed they think too many of their neighbours have grey houses. I wanted to paint my house cobblestone grey, but my hopes were pebble-dashed. Next, Gary kept what to himself before making a DVD about it?
3 archbishops in a sex dungeon. 4 archbishops in a sex dungeon. How many archbishops were there?
Gary kept a really big frozen quiche to himself before making a DVD about it.
Gary kept his idea of a better way of using a spindle to make jewellery to himself before making a DVD about it. Well, would-to-fucking do, Gary. Next, woman regrets taking engagement photos with her dog after what?
After the dog said no.
After friends say it's upgrade on her boyfriend.
Woman regrets taking engagement photos with her dog after the dog tongued her in the actual pictures. I've got a sausage dog and it often tries to lick my mouth. It's creepy.
Really?
Yeah, it's really creepy. It used to belong to somebody else, so we don't know what she saw before.
Oh.
It's better than having a mouth dog that licks your sausage.
True!
I had one of those. I had to give it back to Battersea.
Well, this is the actual answer.
Yes.
Woman regrets taking engagement photos with her dog after it thinks the ring is a treat and eats it. Unfortunately for the woman, but fortunately for us, the moment was captured on video and quickly went viral. Here is the jaw-dropping footage.
Okay, Thor, go away. Come here, sit. Sit. Stay. Stay.
Thor,
Oh, yes! Good!
When she sees that again, she won't want to put it on her finger.
Lastly, what's set to make colonoscopies more pleasant?
Room temperature instruments. Songs from the shows. The way you wear your hats. Conjuring tricks, pulling rabbits out of a hat. Although it's not a rabbit, it's not a hat.
Less weird than the actual answer.
Chimney.
Is it a robot that kisses you?
It's almost the right... Yes, I'm going to give you that. Robot with magnets, set to make colonoscopies more pleasant. This week, scientists in Leeds unveiled plans to use robots to conduct colonoscopies. The breakthrough is great news for robotics, as it gives Sergeant Bash something to do now Robot Wars is over. So, the final scores are... Ian and Helen have 5, but Paul and Janie are this week's winners with 9 points.
Oh, well done.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists Ian Hislop and Helen Lewis, Paul Merton and Janie Godley. And I leave you with news that at the Houses of Parliament there's a commotion on the terrace bar as one clumsy idiot drops yet another full tray of drinks. In an overseas version of Stars in Their Eyes, despite being deeply offensive, the 1970s Lionel Richie tribute act somehow still manages to win. And in Windsor, one newly married couple are relieved to see the photographer has done a good job of photoshopping out embarrassing family members from their wedding snaps. Good night.